are here for 30 minutes of stretch. We're going to be down on the floor for this entire 30 minutes. So let's get started right away. We begin down on our backs all the way down, and then we will begin from there. So once you're all the way down onto the floor and onto your back, move your feet out wide toward the edges of the mat. Let the toes point to the outside so that your legs are completely relaxed. Place your hands on your belly, or one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And your hands will help you to feel the fullness of your breathing. Inhale, feel the expansion. Exhale, feel the relaxation. Eyes are closed. Our breathing will help us with our stretching, helps to calm the nervous system, and stretching really is all about the nervous system. So we're training the body to be more flexible. One more long, deep breath. And then notice yourself moving slowly as we bend up the knees, wrap the hands around the knees and pull in. Begin to move your legs right and left, small rocking motion side to side. Back to center, place one hand onto each knee. Pull your knees toward your shoulders, so the knees will separate here, and then pull the knees toward each shoulder, and then move the knees wider apart into that great groin stretch. Move your feet out a little wider as well, so the feet are just as wide as the knees. Now pull your knees more toward your shoulders. You may feel your tailbone lifting off the ground a little bit as you continue to pull the knees in toward the shoulders. Then release, let the feet come back down onto the ground and move your knees side to side. Smooth motion, right and left. Full breath. Back to center. Straighten out your left leg. Wrap the hands around the right knee. Pull it towards your right shoulder. Extend your right foot up toward the ceiling. Hold on to the back of your leg. Make a few ankle circles. Reverse direction. And then point and flex. And then hold the foot in place. Pull the toes down toward the kneecaps so your foot is flexed. And then straighten your leg any amount. Tuck your chin, lift your head and shoulders off the ground, and gently pull your leg a little closer towards your nose. Hold one more breath. Keep lengthening your leg, keep flexing your foot. And release, lower your head back down and lower that leg all the way down. Left leg up. Hands around the left knee, pull it in. Extend your foot up toward the ceiling, holding on to the back of your leg, ankle circles. Reverse direction. Point and flex. Hold the foot in place. Pull the toes down so that your foot is flexed. Tuck your chin, lift your head and shoulders off the ground. Make that leg as straight as you can. Gently pull your leg towards your nose. Keep working on that leg staying straight. One more breath. And release. Lower your head and lower your leg. Once your foot is all the way back down, stretch your arms behind your head. And then bend up your knees and wrap the arms around the legs and squeeze in. All right, everybody, we're going to rock up, upright seated position. And we'll do just a little more range of motion here. So seated position, feet wide, and start to circle the hips. So starting gradually here if you need to, making any adjustments to your position, make sure there's no pain in the knees or the hips. Reverse the direction. These exercises are so good for joint health, helping to create spaciousness in the joints, to stimulate blood flow around the joint. Release of synovial fluid, that's the joint juice inside of the joint. And then release and back to center. Straighten your legs out in front, bounce the knees on the ground, get a little movement there, circle the toes, feet, ankles. And then from here, take your legs into a straddle position. Now, your yoga block might come in handy here. If you want to put that underneath you, you're welcome to, or you could bend the knees. Any of those options would be just fine. Your hands can be behind, kind of acting like kickstands, or the hands on the legs or out in front. You just decide what you want to do here. We're going to lengthen the chest up and then lean forward just until you feel a stretch, and then stop there. Toes pointing up toward the ceiling. Lengthen the spine, breathe in. Exhale, move in a little deeper. So get into your breathing here. Inhale, lengthen the spine. It's like you're lifting a ½ inch. And then exhale, moving forward a ½ inch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Take your time, push back up, upright position. Again, feel free to bend the knees a little if your back is at all rounded. So we want to have your spine as straight as possible here. We're going to take the hands up overhead. Challenging position to get into this with a straight spine. So you're, again, bending the knees if you need to. You're going to lift and lengthen the chest as best as you can for one breath. And then release. Your right hand is going to come all the way down onto the ground, out to the outside behind your right leg. And the left arm is going to reach up and over. Now, if you can get the elbow down to the ground, that's fine. Or if you're up on your hands, so you're only maybe down this far, that's great. So if you're here, or if your elbow is down, either way works. Now, see if you can take this top arm and pull it back. You're going to try to open your chest toward the ceiling. Make little adjustments as you need to here. For another breath, turn, twist, open toward the ceiling. Push your legs into the floor. That's going to help you twist. And release and push yourself back up, center position. Take the arms up toward the ceiling. Use your belly muscles. Lift your chin, lift your chest. Lean over toward the left. Hand comes down onto the hand, or maybe the elbow. Reach that top arm up and over. And again, we're going to try to open toward the ceiling. So if you find that you're curling down toward the ground, like I am here, you might want to come up onto that hand, even scoot the hand in a little more, so you really can open and look upward. Wherever that position is for you, to try to get that arm pulled back a little and then reach it over. Stay with it, keep lengthening, keep reaching. And release, push back up. Awesome, everybody. Draw those legs back in, move it around. Feet, ankles, toes. And wide leg position again. This time, we'll take the right foot, or sorry, let's start with the left foot. You're just gonna pull it in. And as you know, if there's any discomfort with the joints, then you just move that foot out further away. As an ultimate modification, you could even keep the leg straight. You don't have to bend that knee at all if you would prefer. So just depending on how your joints feel, then from here, we're going to let the right hand slide down toward the foot. So you're starting with a little side bend as you reach down. Now, if your hand is by the knee, that's fine, or maybe the shin or the ankle. Some of you might even be able to grab over the tops of the toes. And then you're going to take your left hand onto your left rib cage or your chest or your shoulder, and you're going to just turn and open. So use that hand to help slide across your chest so you can really feel yourself opening. Maybe move around a little. I find that if I can get on the sit bones, I have a little more stability in order to rotate. And once you've found this really great rotation, send that left hand straight up toward the ceiling and try to reach toward the ceiling. Then bring your hand behind your head and you're going to press that elbow back. Can you look up to the elbow? So you're still in a side bend here. You're reaching toward that foot, but you're also rotating. Stay with it. Keep playing with it. Can you lift your sternum? One more breath. And release. Come on up. And we will switch sides. Boy, these are awesome deep stretches here. So again, modify if you need to. Now, in my particular case, I've got a little issue going on with my knees still. And so, you just have to be patient with these things, right? It's hard to be patient, but you modify as much as you need to. So I'm going to see how I do with my foot out away a little bit. And so you're going to slide that left hand toward the foot. Place your right hand onto your chest or your ribs or your shoulder and roll that right side open toward the ceiling. Then take the hands straight up and lengthen. So you got to use a lot of core strength to lift and reach toward the ceiling and look toward the ceiling. Then the hand comes behind your head. Push the elbow back and look up. Look toward your elbow. Pull that belly in. Keep going. Keep reaching. Now, can you lift your sternum? Get taller through the spine, even though you're still in the side bend. Stay with it. You can do it. Deep breath. And take your time releasing on out of that pose. Excellent effort, everybody. Draw those legs in. Move it around if you like. And a deep breath. All right, super so far. We're going to move into tabletop. And once we're in tabletop, we're going to go into some stretch holds. But for a moment here, let's just go ahead and run through the spine. So rounding and arcing the spine. This motion that we should do every single day. Make sure you're breathing in and out through the nose. That sends a calming signal to the brain. It helps the body to receive these movements and stretches. One more time. Widen your knees toward the edges of the mat. Take your hips either partially back or all the way back, depending on how your joints feel. Maybe the crown of the head, or rather the forehead, comes to the floor. If your forehead does not touch the ground, then you might want to place your block underneath your forehead so that your head and neck don't have any tension in them. You want to completely relax through the head and the shoulders. Deep breath. And take your time, release, and come on up. Now, I am going to actually get up and grab my yoga block because I forgot to get it. So if you don't have yours close by, it's not a bad idea to have it, just in case. And even a pillow. Pillows are always a good idea, right? I love pillows. Everybody loves pillows. So we're going to come into our hero stretch, and that is that stretch for the fronts of the legs, perhaps for the tops of the feet as well. And again, if there's any knee issues like I'm dealing with, I'm not going to go down as far as I normally would do. So that block as a pillow, or not as a pillow, as a chair, sitting onto it. Now I've got that block set up a little higher, so just for demonstration. So this works great. So maybe you need this position, or turn the block down a little lower, or maybe you don't need the block at all, or the pillow, of course, has a little more give to it. So you can decide which position you want. Now, one thing you can do if you lift back up is to get your hands on the calf muscles and just roll them to the outside. That kind of gives you that knee joint a little more room in order to come into the position. So you might consider doing that. And the other thing here is if this just is not working for you and you even need more lift than what the block does, then you're just going to do the position like this. You're just going to have the hips forward. It almost is like a tabletop, but you push the hips back just a couple of inches. So this would be really a therapeutic kind of thing, like if you've had a knee replacement or something like that, where you just really want to go gradually here. And then you can walk the hands back, sit back another ½ inch, and over the course of weeks or months of healing joints, then eventually you're going to be able to get down into a fuller range of motion. So if this is easy for you and your bottom's all the way down on the ground, you can always bring the hands or even the elbows back behind. And then we're going to find a position where you can really be comfortable in. It should feel like a nice moderate stretch. Let's find our breathing here for about 5 breaths. All right, everybody. I hope you were able to find some sort of modification there that worked for you. It's a great position to be able to do, but I realize that not everyone is going to be able to do it quite as easily as others. So all those modifications, go ahead and come back to seated with your legs out in front. And it's going to feel really good to stretch out those legs. And once again, give some movement there to the knees. Now from this position with the legs lengthened out, we're just going to bring the hands somewhere behind, point the fingers away, pull the belly in, and just start to lift the chin and chest, get some length through the spine here. And drop your head back if it feels okay. Feel like you're really lifting through the sternum. And release back to your center position. All right, everybody, good work so far. We're going to bend up the right leg, and the foot is going to cross over to the other side, to the opposite side leg. Now, you can keep this left leg straight, or you could lean to the left and wrap that foot around, again, only if the knee is happy there. And mine, this is that one that's not going to be happy, so I'm just going to keep my leg extended out in front. But you're welcome to bend that knee and wrap the foot around. And then see if you can use your handhold on your leg to get yourself lifted really tall. Notice how straight my spine is here. The reason I'm able to do that is because I'm holding onto this knee and pulling it in. Now, either you're, let's see, I hope I'm getting my lefts and rights correctly. So we cross the right foot over. Hopefully we've got that. Your left hand is going to hold on to the right knee. And then you're going to open that right hand behind and use that back hand as a kickstand and get as tall as you can. Now pull the belly in, get the belly away from your leg, and that will help you turn on the core and find your rotation. Nice and tall. Now, if this stretch is really easy for you, you might be able to actually use your elbow to wrap around the leg and pull that leg in even tighter toward the body. And once we're in a deep twist like this, you want to breathe deeply to get the benefit of expanding your lung capacity. So breathe in, feel your lungs, your rib cage expanding. Deep exhale. Inhale, expand. Exhale, twist. Last one, inhale, expand. Exhale, twist. And release, turn back to center and uncross the legs. Right to the other side, left foot bends up. Wrap your hands around that shin and pull that foot in, and then cross it over. Option to keep the right leg straight or lean to the right and wrap the right foot around toward the left hip. Now, if you have wrapped that foot around, you're going to tend to lean toward the right a little. Ideally, we would have both sit bones connected into the ground. So that's our challenge, is to lean back toward the left, especially if you've wrapped that right foot around. Now, this left foot, the one that's in front, you're going to pull it in, and either the right hand or the right elbow wraps the knee, pull the belly in, pull that leg in tight to the body, and you've rotated to the left. So you're going to be patient here. It's a great position. It's a little challenging, but let's focus on our breathing. Expand your ribs and lungs as you breathe in. Exhale, deepen your twist. Inhale, expand. Exhale, deepen your twist. Last time. And release back to center. Unpretzel the legs. Nice job, everybody. Bounce the knees, ankle circles. Super. All right, back to seated position. Now, with that block close by, if you like, you can sit onto it if that helps you have a more comfortable seated position. It's not a bad idea. Again, especially if you have any joint issues at all, just makes sitting here so much easier. Now, we're going to lengthen that spine nice and tall. The right hand is going to come straight out in front, and we're going to pull those fingers back. So this is a great little wrist stretch. This is a preparation for another little wrist and forearm stretch that we're going to do. Try to keep that forearm at shoulder height. So if I turn a little, you can see I haven't dropped the arm down or lifted it up too high. It's basically just an extension of the shoulder. And then release and go right over to the other side. So we have this opportunity here to practice our tall posture, our tall seated posture, belly pulled in, spine very straight. And remember that if you're not able to do that, then simply moving your feet out away really makes this much easier to lengthen the spine in this seated position. You can see the blocks underneath me. So really a helpful way to go instead of sitting here on the ground with a rounded spine and compressing into that lower back. All right, let's release. Now go ahead and come off of that block and come back into tabletop position. Let's lift off the hands and just give a little shake out. Now, hands back to the ground, you're going to flip your hands in toward the knees. So you can adjust your position. If you have the hands further forward, it's going to make the stretch deeper. Now, we're going to move here a little bit first. So you're going to flip the fingers forward, forward, and flip them toward the knees and toward the knees. Forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Couple more times. Fairly quick pace. Awesome. And then fingers face forward. Now let's hold it. So flip the fingers. If this is really hard for you, then you can lift up a little. You don't have to have the palms all the way down. It just depends on where your flexibility is. So don't make this so that it's miserable. You have to find where you're at with this. And then whatever position you can find, if you're finding this relatively easy, then you lean back a millimeter. It doesn't take very much, and you get a deeper stretch. Good. Take your time, lift off those hands, and shake it out. So good. Now let's give the wrist and the forearms a little massage. And just a couple of things left here for today. So fun to do these relatively short classes because it doesn't feel like it takes a lot of time, but it's still very effective because we're efficient. We get right into it and get the work done. So come into tabletop in the middle of your mat and facing the side of your mat. Then you're going to take your right leg straight out to the side with your toes pointing forward. Now, for a moment here, I just want you to feel like you're pushing your feet into the ground, maybe sliding the hips back a little and looking for a stretch here in the groin or the inner leg of that leg you've extended. Then from here, lift your hands off the ground. So you come to an upright position, reach the arms out. Now you're going to lean over to the left. And actually, you might want to grab your block. It might be handy here. So you're going to lean, and either the hand comes down to the block or to the floor, either way, whatever works for you here. Now we're going to really stretch through the ribs, lengthen it out, push your feet into the floor, and see if you can look up toward the ceiling. Deep stretch here. You can do it. Stay with it. 3, look up more. 2, and 1. Power yourself up. Whew. So good. Back into tabletop. Hands onto the floor. Grab that block if you think you might need it. And we'll just go right to the other side. Left foot extends straight out. The toes point forward, by the way, so it's easy to let the toes aim to the outside, but that's going to lose some of your stretch. So flex the foot, pull the toes in a little. Now just see if you can sit toward that leg just for a breath or two to feel that inner leg stretch right here. You can sit back a little. That may give it to you as well. Lift your hands off the ground. By the way, if this is hard on the knee, a pillow under that knee, grab that pillow, put it under the knee. We're going to reach the arms out. We're going to lean, lean, lean. Place the hand on the block or on the floor, and that top arm reaches up and over. Now you'll lose all of the stretch if you dip and lower to the ground. So you're going to open toward the ceiling, roll the ribs open, look up toward the ceiling. Keep turning, keep twisting. 3, keep breathing. 2, keep breathing. 1, and release. Whew. Take your time, come on out of that, and return back to seated position. Awesome, everybody. Some really good deep stretches here today. One more thing before we're done. We did a little bit of work with the forearms, the wrist, the hands. We're going to do a little bit of work on the feet and on the toes. So any position you want to be in here, if you want the block underneath you, that's fine. Take either foot and just put it up on top of the opposite thigh. Now we're going to start here with just a little foot massage. So this serves 2 purposes. One, it massages the foot, and that's amazing, to give some stimulation to the bottoms of the feet. The other thing it does is it strengthens your forearms. So make sure those forearms feel like they're working, and giving yourself this massage. All right, now you're going to take your fingers and you're going to interlace them in between the toes. And if you have never done this before, it can be very painful. So, but believe me, it really is helpful. So do your best to work those fingers in between the toes. If that does not work for you, then just use your fingers to pull the toes apart. Otherwise, see if you can get those fingers in between. And then your goal is to sink those fingers all the way into the base of the toes, which again, might be a little uncomfortable. Now notice here that the palm of the hand fits perfectly into the ball of the foot. If you've been able to get your fingers all the way in there, the palm fits right into the ball of the foot. Now you can make some ankle movements or the whole foot if you like, but you really want to keep squeezing those toes. And like I said, that could really hurt, but it's going to feel so awesome once we get those fingers back out. Feel free to move it around any amount that you want, little circles. All right, go ahead and pry those fingers back out and let's switch sides. Go ahead and start with the massage over on that other foot. Now, if you were to repeat this frequently, this toe work, you would find that your fingers slip in between your toes very easily with enough practice. And I will admit I'm guilty of not doing this enough. And so I'm going to commit to doing it more often. Great little thing to do if you're sitting around watching TV. All right, once you've done the massage, go ahead and work those toes. Slip the fingers in if you can. If that's not happening, then just use your fingers to spread the toes apart. Your goal is to get those fingers in as close to the base of the toes as you can. Palm wraps around the ball of the foot, and then you can hold still, or if you like, making some movement. Oh, so good. It hurts. It'll be worth it, I promise. So once you've done this and we're all done with class here in about 30 seconds, you're going to get up, you're going to walk around, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, my feet feel so great. The other thing we didn't do that we could do that would be helpful is to work the calves a little bit as well. Those can get tight on us too. Okay, let's go ahead and pull those fingers out and come to any comfortable position that you like. And let's just finish here today with 3 long, deep breaths. That breathing just helps us to set our practice, to get ourselves the benefit of the practice, and let the body know that all is well and everything is calm and gentle. Long, deep breath in. Relaxing, sighing breath out. Deep breath in. Sigh the breath away. Last one. All right, everybody. So get up off the floor nice and slow, walk around, enjoy this great feeling of stretch. I'm so glad you joined me for this, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.